What's up guys, this is Coach Ray and today we're going to straighten our wrists. If you're someone who's suffering from wrist problems, pain in the wrist joint, or basically let's say you're sitting all day in one position, working on computer, driving car too long, and you have problems with your wrists when you're gripping things, when you're pulling things, when you're doing pull-ups. So any kind of pain here means that there are weaknesses in your wrist and you need to work on them to be healthy and pain-free. This video will also help arm wrestlers if you have problems when your wrist is popping out, or again you're feeling pain in your wrist, or you just want to work on your wrist so it could be more stronger, so you can hold bigger weights, bigger opponents. Today we're going to go through a lot of things. Again, I'm showing you the easiest versions you can do in basically any gym or even any home. You can always find things how you can adapt to these exercises. We will use two things. We will use a handle that we use for tricep press, and we will use rubber resistance band. So if you don't have rubber resistance bands, they're really cheap. You can buy them on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description where you can find them. So mostly guys, when they're looking at their wrist, they're thinking that it only does this and this. There are also pronation, supination that goes through your wrist, also radial divination and ulnar divination. So basically knuckles down, knuckles up, pronation, supination, flexion, extension. In most cases it's pretty easy. If you're sitting all day like this, your flexors will get extended, so you need to work on them. If you're sitting all day in pronated position, you need to do some supination. These small things that we don't put that much attention on in our daily lives can cause a lot of problems. Same thing with our back. When guys are sitting like this when they're driving and they have a problem on the left side of their back, it's because you're sitting like that for hours and hours. All these exercises you can do at your home. You can do them when you're not training, on your off days. I recommend doing a lot of repetitions. You don't have to do like 2 or 3 sets of each exercise. You can go through all of the exercises, one set, let's say 50 reps. These muscles are really small and you're working them in your daily lives, so you need to overwork them. This is why I recommend doing, let's say, 50 reps on each exercise. It will be 6 exercises, 50 reps each arms. And after a week or 2, you will see some improvements. You will see that your wrist pain are gone and things like that. Also, always remember to stretch. After all these exercises, just do some light stretching. I put link here where you can find videos about extensor and flexor stretches that you can do to really help you. Most important things when we talk about healthy joints is strengthening and stretching. Both of those things need to come together. So enough talking, let's get to the exercises. We will start with pronation and supination. So pronation is moving outside, supination is inside. We're taking the bar like this, so we're gonna do pronation. So we're going into the negative movement like this and pronating our arm here. So if I can go any further. This will activate even supination. So I'm working both planes with one movement. Try not to move your elbow or your arm like this. Try to keep it here on your wrist. Don't let go of the weight at any moment. Keep it strong all the time, like this. I can say that after 50 reps, you will really feel it. So here we're doing pronation. So positive movement on pronation, negative movement on supination. So some simple variations. Do 25 reps with your arm straight and do 25 reps with your arm bent. Next one, supination. Take the bar like this. You can do half movements, so only positive motion here and slowly release it. Or you can do supination and again together with pronation. You can do just one part. If you feel pain in any of these motions, you should stop. Don't do anything that's causing you pain. You can do other things and then slowly come back, and if you feel no pain, then work on it. So here the same thing, 25 reps like this, and 25 reps like this. On the straight arm, I cannot get that full range of motion like this. On the bent arm, it's much easier. So next exercise is radial divination, like this, or knuckles up. So we're taking bar like this, keeping straight at our side, keeping our wrist straight, and moving up and down. So some main points to remember: don't let your fingers open up. Some people have problem when their small finger is opening up and they're just doing with 2 fingers and a thumb. Try to keep all the fingers here, so your all forearm, wrist, everything is activated. Do a pause on top, slowly down. Again, keep your wrist strong at all time. So this is radial divination, knuckles up. We can do knuckles down. We need to strengthen our wrist from all sides. You can do like this, and up, and up. So when we're talking about divination movements, I think the best way to do it is with your arm straight at your side. This is really easy. You can, if you have 2 bars, you can do them together and there's no problem with it. Next one is flexion and extension. If you have a dumbbell, use dumbbell. It's easier to work with dumbbell. But if you don't, and let's say when you're working your daily life, your pronation is too activated, so you need to activate more of your supination. Take the bar like this, so it gets tension on supination, and do the curl. So you can leave it like this and just work all the way through. You will feel that there's more activation on this part of your arm than it is here, because the tension is pulling you that way. This is really easy way to work on imperfections. If you don't have the time to do pronation movements, you can do together with flexion. Same thing with extension. Let's say now my arms are already too supinated. I need to work more on my pronation. I'm taking the bar like this and doing extension movement. So it's adding so much tension on this side of my arm right here, because the pronation is activated. So this is really great way to strengthen your wrists if you have imperfections, if you have problems when your wrist is popping out during arm wrestling matches and different things. We all need to do these at some point, especially in off season or when you're preparing for something big, because you're gonna put your wrist under a lot of stress. So right now let's get to rubber resistance band. Let's say you're traveling, you're going to different places and you don't have time to go to gym, but you still want to work on your wrist and things like that. Take the small rubber resistance band with you. So whenever I'm traveling, I'm taking this with me. It keeps my wrist strong, my arm strong. I can do a lot of exercises with it for shoulders, for overall body power. So it's really great thing to have in your training inventory. So first variation we're doing with rubber resistance band is pronation. We're taking the band like this with the underhand grip, wrapping resistance band around my wrist, because I want to focus more on pronation than anything else. So 2 variations how you can do this: with your arms straight, or with your elbow bent. So this is really easy to do anywhere you go. You can do 25 reps for these, and it will give you good pump. Your muscles will be activated and they will get stronger. Next one is supination, taking overhand grip, wrapping it around like this. We'll start with our arm straight, turning it inwards or supinating. Second, with your arm bent in 90-degree position like this. For these exercises, it's not about just being able to pull the weight or anything else. It's about pump, getting blood flow into the muscles, into the tendons that you're working. We were doing exercises like this from the side. You can do it from the bottom, same thing. Right here, pronation movement, yeah, underhand, overhand grip, and supination movement. Whatever suits you. Switch it up, try different variations if you get bored, or it's always better to switch things up so you don't get too adapted to these exercises. Next, we're going to train radial divination. Taking the band like this, stretching it out a little bit, let our wrist or knuckles go down, and pull it up like this. Small movement. You can try to squeeze on top. Very uncomfortable. If you're not used to doing this exercise, you will feel very uncomfortable, but it straightens your wrist really good. Next, we're going to do ulnar divination. You're just taking the band like this, stretching it out a little bit, and pulling, trying to put my small finger into the ground, like this. When you're going on top, don't let your wrist just pop back up. Do it slowly, controlled motion. More you're going to control it, more you're going to feel in your arms, more benefits you're going to get. Next, we're going to do wrist flexion. If you don't have dumbbells and if you don't have barbells, you can use rubber resistance band. So right here, how I have taken it, it's going to add more tension on my pronation. So I'm taking like this and just doing wrist flexion. And you can really feel it. If you don't feel it, step away. It adds so much tension on this side of my arm. You can do the same thing. Put it between these fingers. Here, you'll feel more tension on your supinator. But also, all the flexor muscles are activated. Last exercise, it's extension. Taking the same way and just pulling our wrist back. Like this. Again, more on pronated side because it's like this, but you still feel activation in all your extensor muscles. Do the same thing. And here I feel more tension on my supinator side. So guys, these are some of the most easiest exercises that you can do anywhere. It doesn't matter. If you don't have rubber resistance band, you can work with any kind of bar. You can use basically any kind of bar that you have to work on these exercises, and they will benefit you if you have wrist problems. So if it's nothing severe, if it's not tendon damage, if it's not muscle damage or nerve damage, these come in really handy to strengthen out your wrist. So for every novice arm wrestler, I recommend doing these when you're starting out. So everyone just wants to get on table, but not everyone can basically sustain the intensity that you're going through, because every time you want to get harder, you want to get stronger, and this is why so many guys in first years of their training, they get wrist problems. Let's summarize everything we did today. All these exercises you can do on your off days, on your off season. I don't recommend doing them before your workouts when you're training specifically for arm wrestling. If you're doing more of a bodybuilding stuff or calisthenic stuff or training on table, you can do these things. It will get blood pumping in your wrist and you will be actually better. If you have severe problems, I recommend doing this 3 times a week, twice in a day for 50 reps each exercise. And after 2 weeks, you will see some improvements, I guarantee it. If you like this video or you have wrist problems and this video helped you, leave a like, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. Become one of my Patreons on patreon.com. Stay strong and love arm wrestling.